Working women. Hey, can we talk? My name's Kimberly Rutherford, and I've been a working woman for decades now, and I want to tell you a really brief story. About 30 years ago, I had what I thought was at the time a really big time job. It was the first one where I actually had an office and wore a suit every day, made a lot of money. I felt like a real success, and by a lot of people's standards, I was. But as things happen, eventually the company I worked for was bought out by another company. And the new company said that they were going to accept a certain number of the existing employees and take them as part of the deal. And, well, no, this isn't a sad story about getting laid off, because I didn't. They got to cherry pick who they wanted, and I was one of them. So, then you know what? This also is not a sad story about, not getting a good deal from the new company, because what they offered me was a promotion and a big raise and the complete relocation package where they'd take over, selling my house and getting me all moved to a different state and everything. End of the story was that, I didn't want to move out of state, and I went and sold real estate instead, which is a terrific job because you get paid exactly what you're worth. But, during the winding down period, when everybody was sort of on pins and needles waiting to see whether their job was safe, whether they'd get a new offer, well, there were a lot of happy hours. And there was a lot of gossip, and there was a lot of gabbing, and there was a lot of people spilling beans that they had never really talked about before. And one thing that I found out is the guy in the next office, same age as me, same education, same job description, same reviews. The only difference really between us at work is that the dollar volume of the contracts that I negotiated and administered was way higher than his were. But I found out that, at one of these happy hours, he kind of blabbed that he had always made like $8,000 a year more than I did for the same exact job. And it kind of bothered me, but I was off on my new career and it didn't really matter that much. So in the decades since, I've worked for other people and I've worked for myself, sort of about half and half. But I'm still always in touch with, what's happening to working women, no matter where. I mean, no matter what part of the workforce you're in. And in my current business, I talk to a lot of people on Facebook every day, lots of them women, and I hear their stories about what's still going on. And I was honestly surprised to think that things hadn't really changed that much in, the space of time since I've been out in the position of looking for a job or working for somebody else. I thought that the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act a few years ago would make a difference, but I keep hearing, stories from women that things aren't really all that different than they were when I was young. So I spent a lot of time this week reading up on this to get sort of back in touch with the pulse of what's going on there. And I was surprised what I found. Don't worry, it's not all bad news. In fact, there's some very good news. But I realized that even though this affects almost everybody, I mean, let's face it, almost every woman that works, or anybody who knows a working woman, like your wife or your mother, your daughter, your sister, I mean, this affects everybody just, in terms of fairness and justice and equality and everything. It's kind of a conversation that we need to keep going. So even though we've come a long way and there's a lot of hope, there's still a lot going on. If you are a working woman or you even know one, what I did was put together a little short report based on all this reading I did so that other people could find out in a few minutes what took me hours and hours to figure out. I'm going to put links below so you can get it. It's free. You can go to workingwomen.lifestyle.kim. I would love to talk to you about your experiences in the workplace, to see what you're doing, what you want to do, how things have gone for you, and see where we can go from there. Because, it's like the president says, when women succeed, America succeeds. Wishing you the best on your work day and every day. See you next video.